Okay, let's talk about something that can be, well, pretty confusing. The feminine hygiene aisle. There's so many products, so many claims. It's a lot. Today, we're going to cut right through all that noise and get to the heart of it. We're going to figure out what your body actually needs.
And that brings us to a really important question, one we kind of have to ask. Are all those products you're buying actually doing more harm than good? I mean, we are constantly seeing ads telling us we need special washes and scented pads and sprays just to feel clean or fresh. But is that really true, or is it just clever marketing?
You know, this quote from the Mayo Clinic Health System says it all, doesn't it? When it comes to vaginal health, this whole less is more idea isn't just a friendly suggestion, it's straight-up medical advice.
That's right. The truth is, most of these products are not just unnecessary, they can actually mess with your body's natural, healthy balance. So that's what we're going to do in this explainer. We're going to bust some myths and give you the real, science-backed story.
So, first up, we're calling this the Great Hygiene Myth. This is where all the confusion really starts, that battle between what marketing tells you and what your own biology is trying to do.
I mean, just look at this comparison. It's so clear, right? Marketing has basically created an entire industry based on insecurity, making us think that natural scents and functions are problems we need to fix. But biology tells a completely different story. Your vagina isn't supposed to smell like a fruit basket. It's an amazing, sophisticated, self-cleaning organ. And that discharge, that's just a sign that everything is working exactly the way it should be.
So, what's the big deal with all these scented products? Well, that little word, fragrance, you see on the label, it can be a real Trojan horse. It can hide a whole cocktail of synthetic chemicals, including things called phthalates, which are known as endocrine disruptors. Basically, they can mess with your hormones. All of this can lead to irritation and, most importantly, disrupt that delicate pH balance that is so essential for keeping things healthy down there.
Okay, section 2. Let's get into the science of your body's amazing self-cleaning system. Because once you understand this, everything else makes so much more sense.
It all comes down to something called the vaginal microbiome. Think of it as a busy little ecosystem of bacteria, all living in a super cooperative relationship with your body. And the absolute heroes of this little world are bacteria called lactobacillus. They're like your own personal microscopic bodyguards. And this number right here, this is their secret weapon. These lactobacillus bacteria work hard to create a naturally acidic environment, keeping the vaginal pH right between 3.8 and 4.5. That acidity is like a protective force field that stops harmful infection-causing bacteria from moving in. So keeping that pH in the right zone, it's everything. And here's exactly how that beautiful system works. It's a perfect chain reaction. First, estrogen tells the body to make something called glycogen. Then, that glycogen becomes the food for your friendly lactobacillus bacteria. As they eat it, they produce lactic acid. And it's that lactic acid that creates the perfectly acidic, protective environment. See? It's this elegant, self-sustaining system that needs no help from a scented spray.
Now, this is probably one of the biggest points of confusion out there. We have to talk about the vulva versus the vagina. The vulva is all the external parts. The vagina is the internal canal, and they have completely different needs. The vulva, the outside part, can be gently washed with warm water, but the vagina, it's completely self-cleaning. It never, ever, ever needs to be washed, scrubbed, or douched, period.
All right, section 3. Now that we know the science, let's turn that knowledge into power. We're going to talk about how to choose the healthiest products when you're actually at the store. Let's start with pads. This chart really lays it out. Think about it. Conventional pads often have plastic layers that trap moisture and heat. Not great. Plus, they can have pesticide residues from the cotton. On the other hand, you've got organic cotton and bamboo, which are way more breathable, hypoallergenic, and free from all those nasty agricultural chemicals. The choice is pretty clear.
And what about bleaching? This is super important. You'll see elemental chlorine-free, or ECF, on a lot of packages. And yeah, it's better than old methods, but it can still create these toxic byproducts called dioxins. The real gold standard is totally chlorine-free, or TCF. That process uses things like oxygen or peroxide instead, so it doesn't create any dioxins at all. If you see TCF, you know you're making the healthiest choice.
Moving on to lubricants. The ingredient list is everything. Number 1, make sure its pH balanced to that magic range we talked about, 3.8 to 4.5. And here's the stuff you want to avoid. Any scents or flavors, they can have sugar, which can lead to yeast infections. Also on the no list, glycerin, petroleum, parabens, and dyes. Just keep it clean and simple.
You know, you really don't need some complex 10-step routine to be healthy. In fact, it's the simplest little habits that often have the biggest, most positive impact.
So for daily care, this is pretty much all you need to remember. Wash the vulva, the external area, with just warm water. Wear breathable cotton underwear. Always wipe from front to back. And try to change out of damp clothes, like your gym gear or swimsuit, as soon as you can. These little things really do create the best environment for your body to take care of itself.
And after sex, just remember that hygiene is all about prevention, not purification. The single most important thing you can do is urinate afterward. This helps flush bacteria out of the urethra and can help prevent UTIs. A quick, gentle rinse of the vulva with warm water is all the cleaning you need. And say it with me, no douching.
Okay, let's bring it all home. This is your final checklist. We're going to boil everything we've talked about down into one simple, easy-to-remember guide.
And here it is, your ultimate cheat sheet. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Wash externally, never internally. Go for breathable, unscented TCF products. Don't stress about natural odors. By just following these simple rules, you can totally ignore all that marketing hype and just trust your body's amazing biology.
So the next time you walk down that aisle, what's going to look different to you? Now that you have the science, you have the power to make choices based on your health, not on somebody else's marketing plan. You can confidently walk right past all that noise and pick out what's actually good for you.